Welcome back to our channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. And this is the Christian Whistleblower, Jeff Daugherty Show, NCK, YouTube channel. While you're here, like, share, subscribe, and please consider sponsoring my work. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of the people that have subscribed. And I want to thank you to all of the people that are sponsoring. I want to say thank you. You're making a big difference. And I think that we're making a big difference. I'm now working with people individually, one-on-one, almost every day. We are fast approaching 600 videos, and we're putting out information that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And I've got some blockbuster stuff to come. Now, many of you are saying, all right, Jeff, you've finally lost your mind. How can prayer be an addiction? Well, prayer can be an addiction in the same way that worship is an addiction. And if you haven't seen that video, which we did yesterday or the day before, you want to take a look at it, I will link it in the box below. Actually, prayer and worship are two different symptoms, I think, of the same addiction. And you can't really blame us. Because for as long as we've lived, be it 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 plus years, we have been assaulted, indoctrinated, lambasted with this idea of you must pray to God, you must worship God. And then as a species, we've been bombarded for 2,000 years within the Roman Catholic and the Roman Protestant tradition of you must pray, you must worship. And then beyond that, anthropologically, we've been bombarded since the beginning of monotheism, at least, which is probably 10, 20,000 years. And I don't know how many lifetimes you've lived in the last 20,000 years, but you've been thoroughly and ruthlessly indoctrinated by these ideas for every day of every single year of every single one of those lifetimes. So this idea that you must pray, this idea that you must worship a God, is very deeply ingrained, maybe even ingrained within your DNA. It's possible. But the whole idea of prayer is linked up with the whole idea of sin-savior complex. The sin, the sin, salvation, savior complex. Because when you put yourself in a position to pray, you disempower yourself. First of all, you externalize the divine, which is a grave error. The Christ came and said that the Spirit, the spark of divinity is within you. The kingdom of God is in you. Christ in you, the hope of glory. So when you begin to pray, you're externalizing that deity. When you begin to worship, you're externalizing that deity. That's why I know you want to pray, but I also know it's a mistake. I know you want to worship. I know that's a mistake. I've shown you on the last broadcast why worship is a mistake. Prayer is a mistake for the same reason. It externalizes the divine. When the divine, you need to remember the divine spark that's within you and recognize and realize and grow that. It also puts you in a subservient position. You lower yourself from the lofty place that the inexpressible ones have created you in and put yourself underneath some other being. And remember, the true inexpressible ones don't need your prayers and probably don't want your prayers. Why? Because they're arbitrary, because they're capricious? No. But because they want you to develop your own spiritual ability. And it was the inexpressible ones themselves, through the inexpressible one that became flesh, the Word. He said that one of the reasons he came was so that he could bring us the Comforter. And the Comforter would bring all things to our remembrance. What I have to pray for leadership from the divine. I have to pray to get an answer from God. the Christ came to give you the answer. The Comforter is here to give you the answers, because the Comforter which Christ gave us knows all things, is cognizant of everything that the inexpressible one that the Christ called his Father, probably Father, Mother in the original language. The Comforter knows all that. And guess what? The Comforter, the spark of divinity, is in you. So we need to change our paradigm if we want to take our next step in our spiritual evolution or our spiritual ascension. And that is to realize that we should stop externalizing deity. We should stop putting ourselves in a subservient position to another being. And almost every time, and no, I'll just say it every time, when you start praying, oh God, help me, oh whoever you say, oh Spirit Guide, oh Ascended Master, you are feeding a disembodied entity with your energy. It's not going to the inexpressible ones. They don't need your energy. You are feeding a faux God. And you are draining yourself of your own energy. And you are not learning the things you're supposed to learn. You're not growing the way you're supposed to grow. Prayer is old school. Prayer is obsolete. Prayer became obsolete with the original sin victory that you achieved over original sin. Prayer became obsolete when you got out of the fear, guilt, sin control matrix. But it's so built into you that you still want to move in your new spiritual freedom using the old spiritual techniques. Doesn't work. You can't take your old floppy disk from your Commodore 64 and try to jam it into your Mac Air book or AirBook Mac, whatever those are called, MacBook Air, you know what I'm talking about, in your iMac. Can't do it, won't work. And besides, it's stupid. Same thing when you start trying to use an outdated, outmoded paradigm of slavery and apply it to a life of spiritual freedom. Doesn't work, doesn't add up. And there's really no more to say. Well, didn't Jesus say this is how you should pray, our Father who art in heaven? Yeah, plastic Jesus said that. And if you want to follow plastic Jesus, you might as well go to church and you're wasting your time here. But I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you a technique that will satisfy your urge to pray and will at the same time show you, instruct you, lead you, guide you into why you don't want to pray, and begin to show you how you access the Comforter. And once you start getting it and realizing it, you'll be like, oh man, why was I arguing with Jeff about this? It's so simple. It's so easy. It's so plain. We believe, most of us, that we are living in a reality that has multiple dimensions, or at least multiple frequencies of existence. You may believe there's multiple, why did I just lose my whole train? You may believe that it's multiple dimensions. You may believe it's just multiple frequencies. Either way, you can leverage this technique, which I'm going to give you, which is extremely powerful. If you feel like you need to look to somewhere outside of you for answers, if you feel like, oh, I really want to pray to someone, I really want to seek wisdom and advice from someone, not a human being, here's what you do. You ready for this? You pray to you. Pray to you. Pray to your higher self. Pray to the highest form of the expression of the spark of divinity within you across all dimensions and frequencies. That's what I would say. If I'm going to pray, and I've started to use this, I use it in a different way. I call it quantum jumping. I'll go, because, let me back up. We believe there's multiple dimensions or multiple frequencies. Many of us believe, and there is at least a good chance that within each of those multiple dimensions, within each of those multiple frequencies, is a manifestation of you. And if, as many people are beginning to believe, that all time is all around us in different frequencies, you can talk to past you, you could talk to future you, you could talk to past life you, you could talk to future life you. And I remember a girl I dated named Elizabeth that ultimately didn't work out. She made a profound statement to me one night when we were talking about focusing and leveraging the energetic intention of the multiple yous across the multiple dimensions of frequencies into this present moment, and boom! Supercharging your intention and focus towards anything. And I like that. And there was this other girl I was dating named Katrina. Didn't work out. Over Donald Trump, because I told her I was going to vote for Trump. And if I had to do it over again, I probably wouldn't even vote. But at any rate, she talked about the same thing. And she talked about believing that she was going to need to fly at some point, and leveraging this herself across dimensions or frequencies would enable her to fly when she needed to do it here to do something good. And you know what? She may be right. I do hang out with interesting people. And that's what this does as a prayer. When you want to pray, "Oh God, I pray to thee," when you're praying to some damn disembodied spirit that's just stealing your energy, faking like it's a god, when you're externalizing your divinity, when you're giving away your energy, instead think, if you must pray, do this. I reach out now to the highest expressions of the spark of divinity within me across all, knocked over a glass, dimensions and frequencies. So you start tuning into all y'all. You start turning into all the yous that are out there. And you start leveraging all the yous that are out there. And you can start applying that intuition and wisdom to your decision-making process. And really, if you just listen to your blink, it's going to be the same thing anyway. But I'm also going to give you either later tonight or tomorrow a great yes-no divination tool. Did he say divination? I just mean by confirming your blink. That's what divination really is confirming what you think you've received from the divine. So at any rate, I do it, and I've got it to the point where I actually have a very vivid experience. Well, I'll talk to myself in another dimension or on another frequency. Sometimes I look real good, sometimes I don't look so good, but it's always me. And whatever you need, whatever you want, whatever your lack is, somewhere across the dimensions and frequencies is a manifestation of the spark of divinity within you that has the answer, that's been there, done that. And by doing this, whether it is really an exercise at contacting other manifestations of yourself across other dimensions and frequencies, or whether or not it is just you contacting your higher self in recessed places of your spiritual makeup that you have not accessed before, who cares? So please don't send me nasty grams. Oh, we're not across different dimensions. That's just, it doesn't matter. What matters is you not praying to somebody else. What matters is you learning how to leverage the comforter in your life, learning how to leverage the spark of divinity within you. And even though I believe that you can manifest, you can leverage the best of all the essence of the divine spark of divinity within you across all dimensions and frequencies, if it's just you learning how to get in greater touch with your higher self, That's fine. And it's all within this dimension. Great. All within this dimension or within this frequency. Fine. Some of you don't have any room for magic in your world. Some of you don't have any room for wonder in your world. Some of you don't have any room for awe in your world. And I feel sorry for you. I said to one guy today or yesterday, I said, it must be miserable to be you. Because they write me, where is I need to talk about the inner child, and I need to talk about play. People that are really successful in life are playing a game. Life is a game to them. I mean, we talked about Trump earlier. Donald Trump, beautiful example. Real estate to him is a game. Politics to him was a game. Being president to him is a game. And that's why you wonder, why does Donald Trump still go to work when he's already a billionaire? Because it's fun. Because they're playing a game. The inner child is active, and he gets criticized for that. Because it's apparent that he's playing a game. It's apparent that his inner child is still alive and well. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's something messed up with me, but I find that refreshingly appealing. Because my inner child is alive and well, and I'm playing a game. Life is a game, and those that play it as a game are those that make lasting impressions on this world. Whenever things get too serious, that's when they become ineffective, and you become ineffective when you're too serious. It's like the Joker said, why so serious? And even psychopaths are playing a game, like the Joker. He was playing a game. Those that make a difference are playing a game. They figured out that life is a game. Bill Hicks said life is a ride. Same thing. But every time you pray and externalize your divinity, you're hurting yourself. Every time you pray and subliminate yourself to another being, you're hurting yourself. Every time you pray to another being, it's not God because they don't need it or want it. You are feeding another entity. You're giving away your energetic essence that could be used for better things. And as long as you continue to pray to anything, you are not growing, developing, ascending, evolving as you're meant to be. This is big girl stuff. This is big boy stuff. This is buck up, buttercup. This is big dog territory. And if you're not a big dog, it's best you stay on the porch. This may be too advanced for you. You may need to stay on the porch where you have a master that tells you what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it. He lets you out when it's time for you to go pee-pee. He fills your bowl with food when it's time for you to eat. He gives you some clean water. Every now and then he'll throw a ball and let you fetch it. Not everyone's a big dog. Not everyone's ready to get off the porch and run in the high grass. I get it. But leveraging, and here's another angle on it. They've taught us to pray. They've indoctrinated us to pray. They've all but hardwired it. They've ingrained it into our DNA. And those of us that know the truth, we can use this proclivity towards prayer, and we can leverage it for our own advantage. Because when that thing clicks in your DNA that says, oh, I want to pray, I need to pray, do it. Pray. Pray your ears off. Pray to the highest expression of the spark of divinity within me across all frequencies and dimensions. Pray, 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 pray. Listen. You know that old adage, one mouth, two ears, listen twice as much as you speak? That's especially effective when we're talking about communication with your higher self and leveraging your essence across dimensions and frequencies. And can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, most of you that listen to me, you're pretty powerful people. And you can activate some pretty strong intention just through your own self. Boom. Right here, right now. Imagine if you could perfect the technique of leveraging the intent and energy of yous, multiple yous, across frequency and dimension. And you could bring that into a focus in this time and place and apply it. BAM! Exciting stuff, isn't it? This is what unwinding your mind feels like. This is what unindoctrinating yourself feels like. This is what guiding your own spirit, being your own guru, mastering your own ascension feels like. And this is why it's so easy for those of us that move in these realms. I just started working out again. Feel a little soreness. It's nice. I like it. That's why those of us that move in these realms find it very easily to be excellent to each other, because we are realizing the awesomeness that's in each and one of us. We love ourselves. I love me. I love me. I love me up one side and down the other. I am in love with me. I've been searching for 54 years, and I think I finally found the one. Then I'm the one. You need to have that epiphany in your own life. I love me. And the reason I love me is because I love that spark of divinity that's in me, that God stuff that's in me. And, you know, back a long time ago, it used to be a spark. But now I can feel it like maybe it's a big spark, or maybe it's even like a smoldering coal, or maybe I think it might have even went whoa, and it's like a little flame burning in there. I think it's like this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. That stupid old Christian song. I think there might be some combustion going on in there. I think there might be a flame. And before you know it, the roof is on fire. Some of you think I'm absolutely nuts, and some of you are like, damn, son, that's good stuff. I love you all. I want to be excellent to all of you. But it's inevitable we're going to leave some of you all behind. And if you're a porch dog, that's okay. If you're a porch puppy, be a porch puppy. But don't get mad at the big dogs who are running in the high grass. It's like the telephone wire. And you've got a bunch of crows sitting on the telephone wire. And up in the heights, there's an eagle soaring around. And those crows are sitting on the wire saying, look at him. Caw, caw. Thinks he's so cool. Caw, caw. Thinks he's something special. Caw. We don't like him. Caw. Thinks he's so smart. Caw. Don't be a crow. And guess what? That eagle's up there. He's up there doing eagle stuff. And he don't even hear those little cack, 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 cack crows. Don't hear those crows. Cack, cack, cack. He don't care. Be an eagle. And eagles don't listen to crows. Jeffrey Daugherty, Christian Whistleblower. Like, share, subscribe. Sponsor, new shirt, books, in the box below. Unindoctrinate yourself. Unwind your mind. Guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru, and be excellent to each other. Psh.